What's going on with Kanye and Kim? Are they finally getting divorced? Hey, Texas, are you okay? Why are you all upset with Bill Gates? The school board that didn't realize keeping it real can go wrong. Joe Biden, what did he say this time? Scam likely. Have they been calling you too? Did you know Dr. Seuss is racist? And what's going on with The Bachelor? We finally get a black guy, and now there's controversy. This is the 504 Podcast. Erica, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
I'm trying this new thing here. So for the listeners, just so you are aware before we get into the business stuff, we are on Spotify and Google Podcasts. So if you type in the 504 Podcast, we should come up. But I'm not sure about Google because we have iPhones. Because I'm not poor.
And you need that background noise where you get the people cheering. Yeah.
Yes. We'll get a soundboard eventually. So
eventually.
We are on podcasts, networks and stations and stuff. Spotify, Google. We're working to get on Apple, so just bear with us. I gotta click some links, but me so lazy. That's not racist. Erica, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I cannot complain, Erica. One day I'm gonna say something else besides I can't complain. One day I'm gonna say something else besides I can't complain.
One day you're going to speak the truth when somebody says, how are you? Well, let me tell you.
I'm going to tell all the business. Yep, that's going to be me. So, without any further ado, do you say Kim and Kanye or do you say Kanye and Kim?
Kim and Kanye.
You say Kim and Kanye, so that's who you think is more popular?
I guess. Is that how our minds work?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. Kanye and Kim.
So Kanye and Kim, but do you say her name is Kim Kardashian West, or do you say his name is Kanye Kardashian?
I just call it Kim Kardashian.
Remember when she was married to that basketball player?
Yeah.
They said that if Charlamagne the God, I'll give him his credit, said that if he wanted to sell some jerseys, he should have changed his name to her last name, and then he would have sold jerseys because people would have bought the Kardashian jersey. Probably.
And they aired that on their show too.
Yeah. So, apparently, according to TMZ, it's official. Kim has officially filed for divorce. Kanye is not fighting her. It's a mutual decision. It's amicable. Do you think divorce can ever be amicable?
Sure.
Really? Not even like a slither of spite?
No, I know people who are divorced and it was amicable. Okay. It doesn't need to be. I mean, if there was no infidelity or no domestic abuse, I mean, I think it can be. But then people fall apart.
But then that leads to growing apart. But what does that mean? You can grow apart with a different person. You can get with another person and then grow apart again.
Of course.
So then why not stay with the person you're with instead of growing apart? Why not?
I don't know. I'm sure it's more or less. I don't know. My personal take is probably has to do with his bipolar disease or not taking his meds for it. And maybe I don't know. That's my opinion.
Or she finally looked behind the curtain and then realized that it wasn't magical back there and he was a real person. I think sometimes with like celebrity and we see these people, we tend to forget that they're humans with flaws also. And I guess when their flaws are numerous to the point where you didn't realize it, you kind of go, I don't really want to deal with this. But now my question would be for Kim, who do you get with? Who can you get with now? What does she have, like 4 kids now? You have 4 kids and it'll be very difficult for you to find a man more successful than Kanye West unless you find one of those rich billionaires that no one ever knows about.
Is she looking for someone more successful? Because she's successful in her own right.
Yeah, but is she going to date the guy who works at Pep Boys?
What's his sister's name? Maybe. What's his sister's name? Not Chloe. Courtney.
Courtney, yeah.
Was she married to Scott? What's his name?
Yeah, Scott. But they weren't. But they weren't really like Kardashians now.
No, I know. But if they were married, they're amicably divorced. I mean, they still get along.
Yeah, but my theory is when people get like divorced amicably like that, they both have their ideas of who they want to get with next. So it's kind of easy to push the other person. It's like, all right, yeah, it's not working out. And you've already kind of been dating someone or somebody. That's my theory. I could definitely be wrong, but I don't think anybody wants to get divorced and then decide, I'm just going to be alone.
And I think she's dating now Travis Barker from, I'm not sure what group, band.
He sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure he has tattoos. Up. Yeah, all the tattoos.
Okay, so Kanye and Kim and Kanye are Splitsville.
Maybe. I don't know. All right, moving on. Texas. At this point, we are all well aware of the stuff that's happening in Texas. It's absolutely horrific. It's tragic. I've seen videos of people's houses flooding, pipes bursting. And then you saw Ted Cruz was in the news because he was traveling to some sort of a warm island somewhere to escape the, I don't want to call it a pandemic. What would you call it? The natural disaster that has happened in Texas. And people were very upset. And
climate change.
Do you think this has anything to do with the fact that we were on quarantine and no one was driving and then the atmosphere started to reset?
That's a great conspiracy theory.
Because I wonder, or is it just a random pattern of snow?
Well, I did see one nice thing. This man who owned a furniture store, he had power, I guess, or generators, and he opened up his store and welcomed everybody who was displaced. And food banks, like, I guess, places were delivering food for all these people. So they had beds, they had couches, like families were like living in his store.
Really?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, for him to do that.
I mean, I say really because we had the Joel Osteen who had the huge church when there was a flood and they weren't letting anyone inside, as opposed to this person who has less. He has a furniture store and was allowing people to stay there because he had power. So sometimes I guess it's good. You see good in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very nice.
I wonder how this is going to impact his business when things start to get back to normal. Will people look at that and say, you know what, I'd rather spend my money here as opposed to like a chain place like Bob's?
Yeah.
Or one of
those
it's
like a family-owned business.
Yeah. Yep. Or would it be? What is it called? Small Business Monday? Or is that Small Business Thursday?
Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday. See, I don't support small business. I go right to Walmart. By the way, I went to a Target and I did a price match for the first time. Oh, it's so amazing. Price match. You hear so much about it and then you actually take advantage of it and you go, what?
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I bought a video game. It was normally $30. I got it for $10. $9.99.
Ooh, wow.
All right, we're getting back on topic. Ted Cruz. What is his name? Joe Rogan made a comment, and I thought it was very funny, but it made people very upset. So he was saying, why are people so upset with Ted Cruz? Is he gonna make it warmer? Can he make the snow go away? And I mean, realistically, yeah, I guess like that's what I would think. Like if I was someone who were in charge, I might not have left, but I definitely would have sent my family away.
Yeah, it's like the Titanic, the captain of the ship is the last one to go down with the ship. So it's kind of like he kind of, left he said he was going there for something about going to bring his daughter or something. I don't know whatever it was. But maybe it was poor timing. Maybe he had this trip planned. I don't know. But yeah, if your governor's leaving, is he the governor of Texas?
He's some sort of representative. I'm not sure if he's the governor at all. No,
so he's not the governor. I think he's just the state representative.
Let me see what Ted Cruz's position is.
So if he's not, I don't know. Well, that was like, that was back when Chris Christie, during, what was that called?
Sandy?
Hurricane Sandy. He's on the beach. He shuts down all the beaches and he's on the beach.
When he made that speech, he mentioned every little food place that he ever went to. The sausage, peppers, and onions cart right over there. The sweet Italian icy place, gone. The saltwater taffy, gone. The hot dog cart, ran by Bill, my childhood father's friend, gone. I'm like, is he gonna talk about more food places that he's missing? It doesn't tell me exactly what he is. He's on the U.S. Senate for Texas.
Oh, the Senate.
He's a Senate member.
Oh, so then it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Well, people care. I think in times of tragedy, no one can have fun. It's like when when Kim Kardashian sent pictures saying, she's able to provide for her family and she's so thankful. People were so upset. How can you be doing this when people are here starving? And I'm like, well, you follow her on Instagram. What did you expect her to say? Or do? You expected her to do what?
If he'd been a Democrat, would he have been hung out to dry like that?
Probably. I think it's just a matter of him being in power and him not doing more than some people. Because I did hear a report of the, what is her, AOC? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Everybody calls her AOC, so I call her AOC. Yeah, she raised like $5 million in the same period of time. So I don't know.
That's great.
I don't know if it's a Democrat-Republican thing or whether it's just
No, it's all about
who
can trump each other at this point. And I don't mean President Trump. I mean just Trump. Who trumps each other? Who can do better?
I think there is a population of people who just look for just the worst thing and they magnify it. And, disgust sells. Anger sells. So anything that's going to make you disgusted or anger, the media will run with it because it sells. People are going to tune in to see it.
That's sick. Okay.
So the other thing is, did you see in Texas people were taking snow and balling it up and lighting it on fire with a Bic lighter, trying to get the snow to light on fire? Why do they think that the snow is going to light on fire? And why do they think Bill Gates has anything to do with the snow?
So I tried that out here with our snow, and I got the same results. So I guess, we must be getting snowed on by Bill Gates too.
There has been theories for many years that there is a weather machine out there, and they control the weather, and they create tsunamis and hurricanes and different things like that.
That's crazy.
Here's my stupid brain. So how there's a hurricane coming. Hurricane Starbucks. That's I'm looking at this little container over here. Hurricane Starbucks is on the way. It's a category 15. And here I am thinking, what if we got all the fans in the world and we just make big fans, and when the hurricane's close, we turn them on and we start blowing it back the other way? What if we did it? What if we did it? Would it work?
Oh my God. Yeah, no. We're going to fight the hurricane.
You get those little project fans that they put in the window that's not cooling anybody off. And you put the window open and the fan is just blowing. Get a few of those and everybody just turn their fans on towards the hurricane.
They make a lot of movies about this stuff.
Natural disaster movies.
Natural disasters that would not normally happen. All of a sudden they do. And, comets are hitting the earth. And those are not far-fetched.
No, they're not. Especially the idea of a comet hitting the earth at some point. Because apparently it already happened. And that's always been my biggest issue with global warming. Mm-hmm. Because the comet hitting the earth is what caused the ice age. So according to what I remember from learning about science, the whole world was like a jungle.
Yes.
But it was also one big continent, Pangea, I think it was called, right? Mm-hmm. And then the comet hit, and then it all split up, and then there was the ice age. So if the polar ice caps are melting, technically that's the way the Earth was before the comet hit and killed the dinosaurs. Mm-hmm.
So a dinosaur is going to come back?
No.
Are they going to resurrect from their fossil-like tombstones?
No, I think they're going for good.
Graveyards.
But I did hear that the megalodon may be out there somewhere.
Oh, the Meg. Oh, the Meg.
All right, Mun, moving on. In California somewhere, there was a school board meeting over Zoom, and they thought they were speaking in private to each other, keeping it real talk about the parents who are bullying them into opening their schools. And, some comments were said because they thought that they were amongst themselves, which people would normally do. When you're amongst yourself, you think you're in a safe space. You might say things for humor or things that you might not normally say if you were to be heard by general public.
Yes.
By the general public. So this was the case here. They were like, oh yeah, because they want their babysitters back. Who do they think they are? I'm a real person behind this screen. And then at some point, somebody realized, oh shoot, we're live. This is public. It's not private. It's public. And they resigned.
And it was already streaming?
It was already streaming. So everything that they said was already caught. And they resigned.
They were caught with their pants down.
Yes, Jorge, yes.
Oh, he'd be a great guest, by the way. We should get him on one day.
I don't like that people aren't able to speak freely. Everything has to be this political correct. It needs to be a publicist needs to read it over before you say anything to figure out what may or may not be offensive to 3 people, because then they'll start an outrage and a boycott, and then they'll nobody ever just wants you to apologize. They always want you to lose your job.
Yes. Well, that's because of the age we live in. I mean, think about, maybe 20 years ago, without cell phones, without technology, and maybe even longer. But none of that ever happened. But I'm sure there were plenty of, backdoor conversations just like that, except now.
But that happens today.
I know.
It happens. It's real. It's realistic stuff. I don't like how people want to hold other people to unrealistic expectations of not even being a person, being human. They should have just been able to apologize. Like, what is the lady named? The Central Park Karen? Remember the lady who's like, it's a black guy! And she's choking the dog. There's a black guy in Central Park! Yeah. And he says, send the police! Remember her?
She got fired from her job.
She got fired. But people were upset because they wanted her to actually go to jail, too. But she did community service. And she did, like, some hours where she took classes and such, so that she can understand what she did wrong. And people are like, she should go to jail.
But you see, this is maybe why I'm a little more naive in that, if somebody's harassed, or if I think somebody's harassing me in the park, I don't know if I would necessarily be like stating their color. I would just be like, yeah, there's a guy here harassing me, I don't know if I'd be like, there's a black guy.
Well, but that's the reason why people were upset. Because that's what she did. She weaponized his color. Because when you say black guy, for whatever reason, it heightens people's senses. Oh, it's a black guy. And when you say it's a black guy, no one pictures me. 5'6", chubby, sense of humor. They always picture whatever the scariest black guy they ever imagined in their head was. That's the black guy. Everybody's Debo from Friday. You picture the black guy.
That's a great show, great movie.
but that's what people imagine. It's like, oh my gosh. So they go, oh, a Latino guy, and then you just picture the guy with a bandana and tattoos and a blade in his hand. And so when people were upset because she weaponized his color to try to get him to be attacked. But in this case, even with her, like, she lost her job. Even her losing her job, I'm like, I mean, if she lost her job because, I don't know how I can even word it, but if she lost her job because the job was afraid that they were going to get in trouble, that's one thing, versus her losing her job because they felt that she violated whatever the privacy and safety protocols and stuff, so forth and so on. So if it were that case, then I understand. But if it were the case of we don't want to succumb to the pressures of the cancel mob, then it's like, come on, when does cancel mob stop? I need cancel mob to stop.
Exactly.
Because I don't think cancel mob in all the cases, and I don't say in all the cases, in majority of the cases are looking for a solution. I just think they want to just get rid of someone to show, yeah, Now look at you. Now you're one of us. Like the lady from The Mandalorian. I don't know her name. I should have researched
The
her name.
Mandalorian.
It's the TV show on Disney Plus.
Oh.
So there's a female actress who's conservative, and I can't think of her name. I'm gonna look her name up as I'm speaking. She's very conservative, and what she did was she compared being a Republican to being someone who's in the Holocaust. Now, if you were to hear it that way, you would think that that's a terrible thing. That's not what she did. If you oversimplify it, that's what the explanation would be. But what she said was, before the Holocaust took place, it wasn't Hitler and the Germans who were attacking the Jewish people. It were the Jewish people attacking each other because they turned them against each other. That's what she was trying to say. So she's saying, this all starts when we start attacking each other from within. Meaning, if Republicans attack Democrats, we can cause this thing where we're so divided that someone else can come in and infiltrate us.
Mm-hmm. And that did happen. And that is portrayed in the movie The Pianist, where right before Hitler started, sending in the troops or whatever, they were setting the Jewish people up to attack each other.
Yeah. Her name is Gina Carrero. Gina Carrero is the lady's name.
Yep.
But that was her comment, and then another comment had to do with election fraud. Now, I'm simplifying it, election fraud. She wasn't saying election fraud. She said there should be something that should be done universally so that after an election is done, people won't feel like there's election fraud. Like, people shouldn't feel like they were cheated. Because in some places, things aren't done universally. This state can do it this way. This state can do it this way. This state can do it this way. If there were a universal system, we wouldn't have this issue. But those were two tweets that she put out, and Disney said, yeah, she's out of here.
Yep. And
Lucasfilm, well, I don't know if it was Disney, sorry. Lucasfilm said that she's no longer employed with the company. And I'm like, boy, and that all had to do with cancel culture. But for what purpose? We didn't educate her. We didn't say why we were upset. We didn't give her and she took the tweets down. When she realized it was causing an issue, she took the tweets down. But by then, somebody screenshotted it, and it's out there in Foreverland.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's like you really got to be careful with your voice, and I don't know. You got to be careful what you say, especially these people in Hollywood.
But where does it end? Where does it end? Like just imagine.
It's not. This is new. This is how it's going to be.
You know what? No, the scenario I was going to give, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to give the scenario. But just imagine how much worse this can get. Because, you know what? This can get a lot worse. Let's move on. So, school board figured out that keeping it real can go wrong, and they resigned.
They all resigned?
They all resigned. Not everyone, but anyone who said anything remotely anyone who said anything remotely not right or correct or politically correct resigned. And they said it was to allow healing to start, and they are sorry, but nobody wants an apology anymore. They just want you to lose. They just want you to lose your job. Like, I can't imagine me saying something because I don't know, and then all of a sudden there's a campaign. It's like, lose my job because okay, you're punishing me. But now you're punishing my wife, you're punishing my 2 children. I can't get a job in the future. And then what happens? Now I gotta rob you when you get paid on Friday.
I gotta rob you.
Put food on my bread. Put food on my table.
Off the system. Go live off the system. There you go.
They live off the system. I was listening to something about food stamps. And what is her name? What's the black girl's name that no one likes?
Candace
Owens. They were talking about the welfare system. It was like, it was some clip that I didn't watch the whole thing of, but she agreed with the guy when she was like, they were talking about revamping welfare, and it's like, if you get welfare, 2 years, and then you got to find a job, and she's like, absolutely. And I said, ooh, imagine the people who would be upset with that.
Yeah, she's not liked. She's not popular.
I listen to her. She makes sense.
She does.
She makes a lot of sense. I don't understand why she's not liked.
Why? Because she speaks the truth. People don't want to hear that. And then they also bring her down because she's married to a white guy. So how could she marry outside of her race?
I don't understand why that even matters. You like who you like.
Exactly. I mean, we're supposed to see people as people, but...
All right, Mun, you brought up a story. Moving on. Joe Budden. I said I wasn't going to say Joe Budden. I said it, I wrote it down, and I underlined it. Joe Biden and his issue with minorities. Now, this isn't the first time I've heard Joe Biden say something that made me go, oh, come on, Joe. Like, remember when he was on, like, his tirade, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yes.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. And then It was something along the lines of the African American community is not as diverse as the Hispanic community. And I'm like, all right, he's really pushing this line here where he's offending people. Now, what did he say, Mun? Go.
So now he said that the reason why Hispanics and African Americans aren't getting vaccinated is because of the urban areas that they live in. They do not know how to use the internet to sign up for the vaccination.
How about there not enough shots? How about there not enough vaccines? My grandmother's looking for it. She can't find it. I know teachers who can't get it.
How about maybe they are choosing not to get it? Like you're lumping, you're generalizing a group, and you don't even know. Maybe they don't want to get it right now.
Listen,
stepping aside, letting someone else get it.
There's a lot of people out there that want to see what's going to happen to somebody else first.
Exactly.
There was a company in China who actually, they came under fire and a lot of them got arrested. They were selling fake vaccines. So they figured out what the vaccine looked like, sold it, and they were only selling saline water. They were selling just saline. And they were up $5 million before they got caught. Up $5 million.
So, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but again, I'm not rushing to get first in line. And I see
Is it a vaccine though? Or is that what they're calling it? Because I want to play semantics game. They're calling it a vaccine.
But it's not preventing COVID.
Yeah, because
it's just lessening your symptoms if you do get it. If the 5% that might get it.
Because my thinking is this, and I always go back to the polio vaccine because I remember watching that on Boardwalk Empire. If I get the polio vaccine, I can no longer get polio.
Yes.
If I get the COVID vaccine, I can still get COVID and contract it and carry it and transmit it to other people and not know.
Because you now have little to no symptoms, and I think a lot of people believe that they cannot get it. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I see, like I just read in the Washington Post or something like that, or the New York Times, that the reason why we're not opening schools quick enough is because we need to get the teachers vaccinated. But maybe teachers don't want to be vaccinated.
That's going to be a fight. If they start making people get vaccinated, that's going to be a fight, man.
They can't, because it's not FDA regulated. It's going to take 2 years to go through the regulations. So it's only emergency use.
There was a nursing school that I saw. Adam sent me a posting about a nursing school over here in Elizabeth where they were making their nursing students get vaccinated or they had to withdraw from the program. And even with that, like, people were hot. It's like this: you're taking my rights away. You're taking my liberties.
And there's no the companies, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, all those pharmaceutical companies.
Johnson & Johnson has one coming out too.
They are they have it, so they have some sort of litigation in there or whatever legal term you want to use, that if something goes wrong, you cannot take any recourse against them. There's no recourse.
Yeah, because you're probably signing a waiver when you sign up for the vaccine that if something happens, it's unforeseen and you're taking it at your own risk.
Exactly. So you can't hold anyone accountable. But then
you're
if you're forced to get it,
yeah,
because it's your job is requiring you to get it. So what? So what's the recourse then?
I want to see the people who come out and get this vaccine shot after they've been forced to take it and then have all of these unexplained illnesses that they might be faking to no longer have to work again. And with some things, you can't prove it. You can't prove that you're in eternal pain in the shot area. And then there's going to be settlements. There's going to be cases. You're going to be watching Maury, and it's going to be, did you take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine? Or how about the Pfizer? Call us now.
Exactly. So it should be interesting a couple of years from now to see what we look back on.
Hey, Joe Biden, I just want to tell you, these minorities that we're discussing, or you're discussing, they all have the smartest iPhones possible. 3 cameras on them. We know how to work the internet. Just so you're aware. We upgrade every year. Verizon, T-Mobile, they tell you, bring that old iPhone in for $5 more.
And I'm sorry, go to any school in an urban district right now that's remote. Those kids are flourishing when it comes to technology. So
I do think there is a population of people who don't have technology, but they're like my mom's age. I don't think it's like 40 and younger that are like kind of just like, oh, technology. So I think it's like 60 and up that are like.
Maybe that was his thought process. The elderly who don't have access to the internet, or they can't, or don't know how. I get it, but then you just generalized all Hispanics and all African Americans in urban areas saying that they cannot use technology.
But they know how to go online and file for unemployment, though. That's not an issue, right, Joe Biden? Ooh. It's just the shots. It's just the vaccine. All right, moving forward. Mun, how many times are you called from a scam number lately on a daily basis?
I want to say at least 10, 12 times a day.
Every parent that I have spoken to, because I have to call parents, they won't answer me. And then they'll call back and be like, who this?
Oh, really?
I'm like, hi, it's Mr. Baker. And they go, oh, hi, it's me, Miss Johnson. I said, well, you sound so different. Yeah, I thought you were one of those scam callers. It's ridiculous. Why is there no legislation behind this? I'm getting called from New Delhi or some place halfway across the world telling me my social security number is going to be suspended. How is that even possible? How can you suspend a social security number?
Yeah, and then you'll get the poor person, not poor as in like financially, but this person who doesn't know and gets scared, and they say, oh my gosh, that's my life. And they start giving away stuff.
Yeah, it's like my grandmother. Like, she got a phone call, and my grandmother's a very fearful woman. The first thing she did was call my mother. They said they're going to cancel my Social Security because she's getting Social Security right now. But if you catch the wrong person, they're going to get all their information and clean them out.
That's what they want.
I've seen these call centers, these places. It is in India. They are incentivized. If they get so much money, they get a cut of it. It is ridiculous that this is. You know what? Remember when we were looking for Al Qaeda?
Yeah.
We need to look for Al Scam Likely now.
Al Scam Likely.
To start busting in doors. Boom, boom, boom. There needs to be like a new department of the military that's all designed for Scam Likely. Like, just wait for them to call and start tracing their call like some of those spy movies. That's right. 2 blocks away.
One day we should just entertain it.
I try. Because there are YouTube channels where they entertain it, and they'll keep these people online for about 6 hours, and the people are trying to get them to go and buy gift cards, and they'll cut the video from 6 hours to like an hour or like 45 minutes, and it's ridiculous. I try. Whenever they say, please press 1 to speak now to a representative, I press 1.
And what happens?
And I go, hello? My Social Security number? And they go, yes, can you give me your name? And I don't want to give my name because I don't want to put it in the system. But you called me. And he goes, you shut up. And then he hangs the phone up. They know I'm trolling at that point. Man, you brought something to my attention today. You told me that Dr. Seuss may be racist.
Well, that's been said, before.
But you have to explain to me, please.
But now there are schools, because next week is Read Across America Week, and it's usually we celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday on March 2nd. And usually that's the week where we kind of like read all of Dr. Seuss's books, because it's in celebration of Read Across America and whatever. So now there's some school districts that do not want teachers to read any Dr. Seuss books, like No More Green Eggs and Ham, or the other one about the zoo, because of the way he portrays his characters. So, for example, like one of the characters...
They're not real characters. It's a golden kazoo and a buckle shoe or something like that, right?
Let me get the quote, exactly what he did.
Here's how I feel about this.
Unacceptable. It is. So they said in one of his books, the way he portrays people of color. So in his book, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, for example, a character is described as Chinese as having 2 lines from eyes, carries chopsticks and a bowl of rice, and wears traditional Japanese-style shoes.
Wait. I'm going to look it up. It's called Dr. Seuss characters.
It's in the article I sent you. So, and in the book, If I Ran the Zoo, 2 men said to be from Africa are shown shirtless, shoeless, and wearing grass skirts as they carry an exotic animal. So they're saying that because he portrays his characters like that he's racist.
Have they never seen Lady and the Tramp?
I've never seen it.
There's 2 Siamese cats, and they go, "Me are Siamese, if you please." It's just 2 Asian cats, and they're fine. I don't know. Is the Asian community speaking out about this?
No, but we can branch off into what's happening with the Asian community now in New York City.
How they're being attacked?
Yes, and why aren't they called hate crimes? So they're upset.
You want it? I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you why it's not even being publicized, because it's going to take a black person be killed by a white person before the media to cover it. The same reason why the Muslims in China are not being covered. Because people tune into things that anger them and disgust them.
See?
And the media is not really covering it. I mean, I've heard about it, but if I didn't check my sources, I would have never heard about it. And you have Asian people speaking out about it, but it's not something that I guess the media finds important enough. And they are being attacked because people are blaming the coronavirus on them, and they're linking it to former President Trump, saying that it's him who started the rhetoric, and again he gets blamed for something. Just let that man go and die alone, die in peace.
Exactly.
Oh, I do see another picture over here with a bunch of Asian people.
Dr. Seuss.
Mm-hmm. But is it Dr. Seuss? I don't know if it's Dr. Seuss. See, in most of the Dr. Seuss books that I've read, it's usually just animals. But then again, did he write all of his books, though?
Yes.
Because I think the new Dr. Seuss books, I don't think he writes them. I think they just have his name on them.
Well, he's dead. I don't know. It's just that now some schools are like hesitant or saying no more. I mean, this is not something new where we ban books.
But
books
racist.
have been banned from schools.
Racist.
But books have been banned from schools, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or even what's that other one? I can't think of it right now. The other book too. Not Catcher in the Rye.
But racist. Dr. Seuss. Most of these kids know Dr. Seuss and have no idea who he is. If that's the case, how come nobody's canceling Disney? Because they say that Walt Disney was anti-Semitic. If I look him up on different websites, they'll say he was anti-Semitic. But I guess Disney is this big conglomerate with money, so it's fine.
I guess. I mean, even Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, they want to ban the book because the N-word appears more than 200 times.
But it's a timepiece.
Exactly. So people argue that the book is it's vital to understanding race relations in America in the late 1800s. I mean, again, why are we going back? Why are we going back and taking something that is a timepiece and debating it now? Because then it was relevant.
Because we have a lot of people who want to erase history. They want to erase history, and they also at the same time, it's like a double standard. We want to erase it, and we want you to remember that it happened. Well, the best way we can remember why it happened is to teach and to use it as an example and say this was something that was considered okay at the time. We don't look at it this way anymore. But at the time, this was what people did. Yep. But then again, I mean, I don't know. If you look at a lot of the situations that are coming up with people, it's not even the people of the race that are having an issue with it. It's somebody outside of the race who just wants to cause this new upheaval. What was it? It was in Trader Joe's. It was Trader Jose's they had, and they were selling like some sort of food or whatever it was. I don't know. And people brought issue with it. Oh, it's cultural appropriation. And then they canceled it. Who owns Chipotle? Because last time I checked, burritos and quesadillas and tacos were all Mexican food. Why is that not cultural appropriation?
They will be one day.
And why is Cracker Barrel still allowed? I want answers.
Cracker Barrel.
All right, man. Speaking of racism, The Bachelor.
The Bachelor. Okay, so I don't watch the show, but I do, I'm on Twitter. I'm on all these social media accounts. And this is the first time that they have a male African-American bachelor.
Because we all want black men. We all want them.
So
Not me. I'm fine. I like women. But I know black men are desirable.
So there's one of the contestants, Rachel Kirkconnell, who was called out because of her social media account and the pictures that she has on there. So one of the pictures, she received a backlash earlier this month because of her antebellum plantation themed ball at Georgia College State and University. So that's where she went to school. It was thrown by her fraternity.
So was anyone there wearing blackface?
No, they were dressed.
Okay. So then I don't see what the issue
They
would
were
be.
dressed in Southern plantation attire, like Gone with the Wind. Big ball gowns, the hats.
I know what you're talking about. My wife watches some show where they do it's like a black guy is on there and the white girl likes him. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm like this. He's not a slave. I can't think of the name of the show.
The fraternity that she belonged to, Kappa Alpha, they've been criticized as racist because of their embrace of the Confederate general, Robert E. Lee, as their spiritual leader.
Okay.
So what happened was the fraternity throws their annual bash during Old South Week, a popular event that has been previously held on plantations and used Confederate flags for decoration. Okay. Now, Confederate flags. We had the Civil War because the South tried to concede from the North and be their own country. So that was their flag. So that's why the Civil War, that was the real reason why the Civil War was initiated, because they wanted to concede and be their own country. So I guess a lot of the South, they still fly their Confederate flags, and that's seen as racist. But again, it's part of history.
I am torn on that. Okay. It's only because it's like they lost.
Well, and to be honest, in the South, when I went to go visit, I went to Georgia and I visited Atlanta, and then we went to a little town outside of Savannah, where the Andersonville detention camp was. So Andersonville was where they held the northern prisoners. And we visited the grounds or whatever, and we went into the heart of the town, and I was told not to speak because of my northern accent. And so we didn't or whatever. So we went into one little shop, and the lady said, "Where are you from?" And we told her, and she looked at us like if we didn't get out of there right at that moment, she was getting a shotgun.
Ooh.
So it's not a black and white thing. It's a Southern thing. These people really feel that they should have been, some in the South, in a deep part of the South, really feel that they should have won the war and been their own country. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white. They don't want anyone from the North in their little towns. Yeah. So basically, it was brought up, and the guy the host of the show, I can't recall his name, he was saying, like, he didn't say, like, what's the big deal? I'm paraphrasing here, but he goes, that was 2018. She was in college. I'm sure she just attended that party.
Because other people are going to be there.
It was with her fraternity. It's something they've done every year. And she went to the party and had a good time as a college student. I don't think there was any underlying racist thoughts or, whatever.
Well, racism sells. Let's be honest. Racism creates conversation in itself.
So, but the fact that he kind of like, I guess, the quote unquote defended her.
Wait, who defended her?
The host of the show.
Got it.
And he said, he basically said, like, what's the big deal? It was in college. Like, this is her fraternity. This is what her sorority. I'm sorry. This is what they do. Like, this is not unusual for them. This is their yearly event. And he was, I guess, he got a lot of backlash, and he decided he wasn't stepping down from the position, but he was taking a break.
I'm going to take a break.
Because he offended too many people. So then she had another picture on her Facebook page celebrating wearing Mexican ponchos and sombreros, and they felt that wasn't appropriate either. But so I guess we cannot celebrate Cinco de Mayo anymore. I mean, I don't know.
I know a lot of regular people who celebrate St. Patrick's Day. They go out there and they get blasted.
Yeah. Do you see the Irish complaining? No. So Cinco de Mayo, if you are not Mexican, what is Cinco de Mayo? I think it's like
that's their Independence Day, right?
The day that they
Look at us not knowing. Ooh, ignorant. We're ignorant.
Oh no, I know. It's just sometimes it's hard. I got a million things in my head. It's the day they became independent from I don't know. This is terrible. But we've turned that event into a day to go out and eat Mexican food and drink margaritas. And I think it took away from the whole reason why there's Cinco de Mayo. But maybe I don't know. I don't think if you've go out on the street and had a microphone and asked people what is Cinco de Mayo, they're going to tell you it's a day when you go out and you drink margaritas and Coronas.
Listen, if you did the same thing with Memorial Day and Veterans Day, you'll get the same thing.
Exactly.
It's just a day where you barbecue.
Exactly.
Now, I know what the initial concept behind it was, but even with President's Day, just a day off from work.
Yeah. And we're celebrating all the presidents.
Yeah, sure we are.
Except for one.
Sure we are. All right, Mun, that's long enough. I did want to get into how the life expectancy of men has dropped and women are just going along fine, but we'll talk about that another time. And I wanted to talk about how the death toll with coronavirus is more than likely inflated, but we can talk about that another time because we just passed 500,000. No, yeah, we just passed. We're just past 500,000.
All right, well, that's our next episode.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. As always, if you watch the entire video, give us a little special like and say I stayed for the whole thing. It's a pleasure doing this. Mun, thank you so much.
I love it.
And we'll see you guys next time. Last words, Mun.
Why do you always catch me off guard with that?
You know I'm going to give you the last words.
The last words. I don't have any last words.
No last words.
My brain is fried.
I know. Virtual learning. Frying my eyeballs with this blue light. It's not going to be covered in my insurance.
There's so much information in my brain that I'm going to have to take up, like, writing again at night. Just, like, decompressing and putting it all on paper.
I make sure I read at night just to make sure that I get that blue light out of my system.
I don't even want to do that anymore. I just want to close my eyes. I don't even want to watch TV. I don't want to read my phone. I don't want anything. Anything that has to do with technology.
I'm not even going to talk about how my thighs underneath hurt from sitting. All right, that's it. Thank you so much.
Those are our last words.
That was the last words. Thank you so much. Until next time. I'm Mark.
Adios. And I'm Erica.
And adios, she said.
Can I say that? I can say that.
Can you?
Can I? Sure, why not?
You can get in trouble.